Hi, for this lesson, we are going to do PT3 writing and we are going to focus on the long essay. So I'm Teacher Gan and my YouTube channel is Educator OmniTube. Let's look at the learning standards. So we have all these 4.1.1, explain simple content from what they have read. Writing 4.1.2, make and respond to simple requests and suggestions. Writing 4.1.3, summarize the main points of a simple story, text or plot. Writing 4.1.4, express opinions and common feelings such as happiness, sadness, surprise, and interest. And writing 4.1.5, organize and sequence ideas within short text on familiar topics. We move on to 4.2.1. Punctuate written work with moderate accuracy. Writing 4.2.2. Spell written work with moderate accuracy. Writing 4.2.3. Produce a plan or draft of 2 paragraphs or more and modify this appropriately, either in response to feedback or independently. Let's look at the writing task that you have in your Form 1 and Form 2 textbook. So the textbook is Part 2. For Unit 1, you have personal profile, or it is a description of a person. And then Unit 2, you have review. Maybe you can review a restaurant that you have visited. Number 3, you have narration. Narration is a story. And number 4, or Unit 4, you have geographical description. And Unit 5, you have giving opinion. Unit 6, informal letter. Unit 7, blog post. Unit 8, email. And Unit 9 is instant message. And for Form 3, the textbook is closed up. We have Unit 1 to Unit 12. So Unit 1, the writing is email. Unit 2, review. Unit 3, email. Unit 4, story. Unit 5, informal letter. 6 is more on writing sentences. And 7, story. 8, postcard. And 9 also is more on sentence structures. And 10 will be letter or story. And 11 will be report. And 12 will be story. Let's look at the first question, which is a PT3 trial for 2019. It is from the state of Kelantan. So let's look at the question. Part 2, 20 marks. You should spend about 30 minutes in this part. You have been talking about hobbies with your friends. In about 120 words, write an essay about your favorite hobby. You may use the notes below to help you. So there is a mind map here where you have a bubble map where you have your favorite hobby, and then around you have the WH questions. So remember that you have to write an essay. So this is a description because it is about a favorite hobby, and remember you have to write 120 words. Let's look at the question again, or the mind map. So you have your favorite hobby, and then the first one, what you like. So you can write reading. Reading is your hobby. So you have storybooks, you have magazines, and also you have newspapers. And then let's look at number 2. When do you do it? When do you do your reading hobby? So maybe you can say when you were a little girl or at a certain age. And where do you do it? When do you read? Where do you read? So it can be at home, in the library, or in bookshops. And then you have who do you do it with? So where you do reading, who are you with? Okay, so you can write you are alone, or you can read with your parents or your siblings. Okay, next, why do you do it? So why do you read? So the answer could be because you can learn many things, you can get information, and you can get facts. How you feel? Okay, what do you feel about reading? So the answer should be you are thankful, you are glad, you are happy, and so on. We are going to start writing by writing the first paragraph, which is the introduction. So remember that we have content 1, what do you do, and content 2, when you do it. So let's look at the first example. My hobby is reading. I read storybooks, magazines, newspapers, and any kind of material that I find interesting. This hobby got started when I was a little boy. As soon as I could, I learned to read. I started with simple ABC books. My parents also read bedtime stories for me. So number 2, My favorite hobby is reading. I enjoy reading a book when I am free. I started to do it when I was 4 years old. The first time I started, I felt interested, so I continue reading. Next, uh, example number three. My hobby, the hobby I like the most is reading, and it might be a storybook, newspaper, or magazine. The first time my mother noticed me reading a fairy tale was when I was 3 years old. She encouraged me a lot, saying that it's a very good habit. She also advised me not to give up the habit. For paragraph 2, you are using content 3. When do you do it? Content 4, who do you do it with? And content 5, why do you do it? So let's look at example number 1. I enjoy reading a book when I am free. Sometimes I will go to the bookshops with my friends and spend hours in the reading corner, immersed in my book. I enjoy reading because I like to explore the imaginative world of my favorite author J.K. Rowling, who writes Harry Potter. There are a lot of advantages of reading. Reading can make me relax and calm. I can also learn new vocabulary. Then I can further improve my English. Moreover, it can give me unlimited imagination so that I can write books in the future as an adult. Number 2, reading always keeps me occupied and happy. I could spend a whole weekend in my room finishing my favorite novel. It's a better source of knowledge, inspiration, and enjoyment. Besides, this hobby makes me a punctual, disciplined, and successful person in my life. We are still in paragraph 2. So another example, which is example 3. Coming back from school, I love to read interesting and knowledgeable books while finishing my homework. Reading enables me to learn about so many things that I would otherwise not know. I learned about how people live in bygone days of magic and mystery. I learned about the wonders of the world, space travel, human achievements, gigantic whales, tiny viruses, and other fascinating things of our world. The next example, which is example 4, I read at least 1 hour every night before I go to bed at 10 p.m. I read books by myself. I usually read in the study room at home, which I share with my elder sister. At present, as a teenager, I understand the benefits of reading. Actually, reading a book helps me achieve all kinds of general knowledge. This kind of habit allows me to know the unknown, to see the unseen, to discover the undiscovered. I can even know the history, culture, animals, space, human achievements, and other fascinating things about the world. We have now reached the end or the last paragraph. So we have conclusion. So we are going to use content 6, how you feel. So this is an example. Books provide the reader with so much information and facts. They have certainly helped me in my daily life. I'm better equipped to cope with living. Otherwise, I would go about ignorantly learning things the hard way. So I continue to read. Besides being more informed about the world, I also spend my time profitably. It is indeed a good hobby. Example number 2, which is shorter. Books are my best friends and I don't feel lonely. This habit is more precious than gold or other stones in the world. Stephen King once said that books are a uniquely portable magic. Number 3, nothing increases your language proficiency like reading. As I constantly read English books, my English has improved by leaps and bounds. I would recommend reading books as a hobby to anyone. Next, we have, in conclusion, reading is beneficial for students like me as it improves my language and general knowledge, which will help me perform better in examinations. We have come to the end of my lesson today on PT3 writing, and remember, we just wrote long essays. So thank you again, and do subscribe to my channel. It is called Educator OmniTube. I'm Teacher Gan, so signing off. Bye bye.